Hello, everybody on YouTube. Can you hear me? So if you're watching the YouTube live stream, can you go ahead and comment in the chat box whether you can or cannot hear me? I guess if you comment, then you can. Okay, cool. So I'll just rewind. So again, welcome. We have 10 people in a Google Hangout, and then the rest are watching the YouTube live stream. Hopefully everyone can hear me. This is a lead nurture call. So we have myself, your MCVP marketing, as well as Madison, who is my lead nurture all-star. She's on the marketing and ST, and then Rosie and Samantha are here as well. So if you're here, it's because you want to improve your conversion rates from whether it's a interested person into an open into an applicant, or an applicant into approval, to take your conversions to top 10. For the evening, we're going to start by jumping into what exactly lead nurture is, why we do it, email marketing versus lead nurture, the responsibilities that we on the MC as well as local committees are responsible for, and we're actually going to get into what kind of lead nurture ISIC globally is doing and how you can implement this locally in your LC. And then Madison is going to take over and explain to everyone the actual construction of a newsletter, going into detail more about anatomy, so the different things you need to include, content, and then leaving your reader with the call to action. We'll finish with different resources for how to send a newsletter. So who are you trying to send it to? How exactly do you send it? And when is the best time to do so? And then, of course, we like to end these calls with a slide for resources. So you will find that. These slides will be made into output. Is being recorded, so you guys can go back and watch over that. I suggest you fast forward through the first like 6 or 7 minutes if you don't want to rewatch the technical difficulties. But yeah, so let's just get right into it. So why lead nurture? So as many of you guys know, lead nurture can be described in many ways. Tonight we're going to be talking about specifically email. Nurturing is exactly what it says. It's when you nurture a lead, so someone that has shown interest in ISIC but needs to be moved along in the funnel. The reason email is so valuable is because it's been proven to have the best ROI for many of you guys using MailChimp or not using a specific platform at all. Email is free, so you get good engagement considering you're not investing money in it. It does have a wider reach because virtually everyone who's on a computer also has an email. It's easy to build customer relationships where otherwise it might be challenging. So as long as you can capture someone's email, you can stay in contact with them. It's been proven to increase sales because it engages the customer, brand awareness. So even if someone who's interested is not necessarily acting upon what you're saying, they're still aware of your brand because it's in their inbox. So there are two different topics that I just want to hit on real quick. There's lead nurture and there's email marketing. So in a lot of ways, people will use them interchangeably, but I guess it is important to know that lead nurture is when you're actually engaging your lead. So a lead means that they are actually someone who's interested in getting to know more, interested in buying, interested. You're nurturing them along through the funnel. So this is someone who's open, they are a lead. Email marketing, however, it's a little bit different. So email marketing is more like marketing your product to people who haven't heard about it via email. So there are two different, you can distinguish the two topics. For our purposes, it's not super important that you use the correct term, but just know like if it's an open, it's a lead, because they've shown interest, and so you need to nurture them through the customer flow. So I want to go in real quickly and outline for you guys what kind of content is happening globally, nationally, and locally. I know I've had a lot of LCs who have reached out to me specific topic, because the better a local committee gets at having their own newsletters, the more redundant it might seem that an EP is getting a national newsletter and a local newsletter. but there is definitely differentiation in the content that we're sending. So globally, iSIG International sends emails to all of our leads. However, these are very transactional. And what I mean by that is they're only sent for specific steps that occur through the sales funnel. So when an EP signs up, they get an email. When they apply, they get an email. If they're rejected, they get an email. If they're accepted, they get an email. Once they're approved, they get an email. Realized, completed. And they're also sent an email, which is them to fill out the leadership development assessment. And then when they return from their project, they are sent an email instructing them to fill out the Net Promoter Score survey. So as you can see, these are not emails that are really trying to sell you a product. They're not showcasing any sort of stories. They're very transactional, and they only occur when a customer, advances through the sales funnel. Nationally, we just started our national lead nurture in October. So everyone, if you see Madison, you can give her a pat on the back because she's been really, really amazing. She knows a lot about email marketing, both on the local level and now the national level. But what we do is every time we have an open, they receive a welcome email. So this is basically welcome, just a simple welcoming them to the iSIG US network. You'll see actually in the next slide a visual example, but we also give them buttons so that they can go see our Facebook page, our website, our blog. And it's basically an introductory email. Why are they now receiving these emails? What can they expect? We also send them a second email 2 or 3 days later that breaks down our different products. So it explains in a little bit of detail global volunteer, global entrepreneur, and global talent, and also provides them with a featured opportunity and a call to action to. So as you guys know, we have a national marketing timeline. So according to the timeline, what we're promoting nationally, we will be sending them really short, concise project features, featured projects. So, when we're promoting Mexico, we'll send them an email about SDGs in Mexico that we're currently trying to tackle through XYZ project. And the last one that we've sent the last category is for any special offers. So if you guys remember the Black Friday deal, we sent out an email about the Black Friday special with deadlines and things like that. And we also will send out, in the very beginning of the year, we sent out a large email about Shape Columbia and more information about Shape Columbia and how to apply. So it's mostly showcasing and national special offers. So that does leave room for local committees to have their own special content as well. So you can also have your own welcome email. Options or suggestions, I should say, include an email for every person time-based email. So once you've sent them a welcome email, maybe within 24, 36 hours, you remind them to complete their profile on Expa, or send them a tutorial video or a diagram explaining how to do their profile. You can also do project showcasing and make this very specific to what you're doing. So if you're in an expansion and you're only promoting Mexico, then you can, there's a lot of room to provide great content about Mexico, culture of Mexico, showcase EPs from your LC that have gone to Mexico in the past, feature projects, things about SDGs. Again, any local special offers. Decide anyone who matches by February 1st gets $15 off, whatever's been decided with you and your VP Finance. You can promote that. LCs to work with deadlines to incentivize EPs to approve, to move faster. So you can send reminders about deadlines. You can send more formal invitations to OPS and RIS to your EPs. So there's a lot of room for local newsletters, just overlap with national. So you can see here's some examples. So these are global examples. So you'll really see, but this is an acceptance email. So this is a screenshot, so it's not exactly what it looks like. But this is what it looks like when they are accepted. You know, you can see that it's very short and it has a call to action. So what do I do now? And buttons to move to the next stage. This is one for completing their opportunity. Here you can see the ISIC United States welcome email. So I'm gonna hand it to Madison. She's gonna actually talk about the construction of the email, because you can see in these templates that there are a lot of elements that are quite similar. So she's gonna talk to you about actually constructing an email. Real quick before I move on to that, in terms of local implementation, if you guys remember back to calls we've had or sessions at conferences about the growth paths, what we do recommend is that you consider having newsletter as a project-based JD. That I want to point out. So as you know, on most OGV and OGT teams, everybody is an EP manager or a customer experience manager. If you choose to have a newsletter, whether it's segmented by OGT and OGV, or EPs that are interested in certain countries, we recommend that it be a project-based responsibility on top of EP management, and this responsibility can be given to one person. This is just a suggestion. If you want more details or you have concerns, I recommend you reach out to your OGV or OGT network manager to decide what's the best way for your local committee, your local team, to incorporate this into your team JDs. The second thing that I want to remind you guys is that newsletters do not replace EP management. So there is a difference between the emails that you'll send as an EP manager that's very personal. It's also quite transactional, but if an EP manager is managing Rebecca, then you will really never be able to replace the one-on-one personalized interaction that the EP manager can get with Rebecca through a newsletter. So the newsletter is not meant to replace, it's only meant to supplement or to add. So all members should continue to be managing their EPs via email or text messaging, however this is happening in your local committee. Keep that customer-oriented customer service communication. Cool. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Madison. Madison, if you could just make sure your mic is on. Customer service communication. Cool.
Yeah, so
So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Madison. Hold on one second, I need to mute. Hold on one second, I need to mute.
Okay.
Okay, Madison, if you're good, you can go ahead.
Do you want me to share the slides on my screen? Okay.
Okay, Madison, if you're good, you can go ahead. Hold on one second.
Do you want me to share the slides on my screen?
But it's like, it keeps like echoing on. Can you hear me? Hey, Madison.
Okay, so there are a few technical difficulties with me.
Should I just present? The live chat and the YouTube playing on my. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay, guys. Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm back. So we had some technical difficulties working on Google Hangouts and YouTube Live, and spreadsheets or slides is really confusing. And I was trying to have Texas. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep taking over. This would have been Madison's section. So if you guys have questions about anything I'm about to say, definitely feel free to reach out to her. I'll give you guys her contact at the end because she's really excellent. Okay, so construction. So these are just some components of an email that I want everyone to be aware of. So most emails start with a subject line. Obviously, this is the subject line that people see when you receive an email in your inbox. So just some things to be aware: a short subject line will increase opens, but a longer subject line might help increase click-through. So you definitely need to find a balance. You need to be captivating in your subject line, but don't be spammy, a lot of exclamation marks, special deal, that kind of thing. It actually can be flagged as spam and not be sent at all. There is a snippet of text that is previewed in your subject line of the email. So for some platforms, such as MailChimp, you can actually choose what you want to be your pre-header. Otherwise, in most emails, such as Gmail, the first sentence of your email will actually be pulled. So in that case, you can make your first sentence captivating as well. So header, as you guys noticed from the examples before, all of the emails had a very visually captivating header, or I guess you could call banner. So if you guys didn't know, there actually are email banners that I've made and put in the assets folder that are focused on countries. So you can use those or you can design your own email banner. I do recommend you do this though, because images always catch people's attention more than just text, obviously. So you can design a brand align header with the ISIC logo, GVGT logo, and even a headline. So headline is below. So basically, this is like the first thing that you're gonna say, activate your potential, or travel with a purpose, Mexico, volunteer in Mexico this summer, things like that. Make sure to include keywords that are captivating and informative so they know what they're about to read. Don't make it a super long headline. Short is always better because we're all young and we have precious time and a lot of things to read. Simple, bold phrases that communicate important thoughts or phrases. So if you do have like a longer information email or a longer newsletter, definitely like section it out. People need to see a visual hierarchy of what you're going to be talking about in the email. And then copy. So what I recommend is that all newsletters or emails be actually quite short and to the point. So you can use young, youthful language and captivating language. Keep it short, and please keep it grammatically correct. And just as a final note, you should use images. I know I already mentioned this in the header, but you can use images throughout, or maybe the main topic of the newsletter is a video, EP testimonial thing. Different types of media really draw people in. So just to give you guys, go back to these examples, you can see here, this is a header. We had it designed out and just put it into the email. So this was made in Canva. These are made outside of like an email. And then once it's all designed and saved, you put it, you drop it into your email. Examples are so ISIC US, we use GetResponse. I think ISIC globally uses GetResponse. What I recommend for LCs is MailChimp, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But you can add in these elements, which are buttons, and you can change the font, color size, everything. You can add in these like, it's at the end, call to action. So you'll see here that the copy is short, it's young, it's hip. There's buttons here that people can interact with, and there's call to actions. So visit our website is a call to action. You never want to send an email that doesn't tell them what to do next. See here, they make it super clear. What happens now? Step 1, make it official and go into opportunities portal. So these are really good examples of the different like anatomy pieces of an email. So the must-haves. Please make sure your email is brand aligned. If you're gonna design something and it must be brand aligned, I always recommend stick to what you're talking about. So if the project is GV, you have a global volunteer brand aligned. If it's GT, it's a global talent logo header. Make sure, like I said, it's short, catchy copy. Copy is just a word for like the words that you put in the email. Tell them what they need to know. What I see a lot of times is people will send an email that's like the first 6 sentences are about what ISIC is. So they'll say, hi, my name is such and such, and I'm part of an organization called ISIC. ISIC is the world's largest student-run nonprofit organization present in 126 countries, and we facilitate la 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 before they actually get into what people want to know. What I recommend is you start with ISIC in Seattle is looking for students who are interested in volunteering abroad in Mexico for 6 weeks, working on, quality education projects. Talk about the project, pitch the project, pitch your next event, and then at the end, you can add in like a little section that's like, this is what ISIC is, powered by ISIC. So definitely start with the most important information and keep it to what they need to know. Like I said, call to action. So always in your email with a request, whether it's RSVP for our next event on Facebook or log into, visit opportunities portal, visit our website, apply today, pay. If you're sending a newsletter to all the EPs that have been accepted but haven't paid, you can say, here's the link to pay. So make sure that there's always an actionable item. Make sure you leave contact information. So you want to have, your contact information, email, WhatsApp, or phone number can address you. And for those of you using platforms such as MailChimp, definitely use the unsubscribe. Not hide the unsubscribe. You cannot delete it. It is actually a legal requirement that people be able to unsubscribe should they wish to do so. So the next topic is what not to do. I've messed this up so many times, I can't tell you. Like, if you think you're doing a really great job and you're just like, I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna do this really fast in this email, bada bing, bada boom, please always proofread. Draw away your customer because of a stupid spelling mistake, or even if you said like Thailand instead of Mexico one time, it can be really confusing for customers because they don't know that it's a mistake. Like I said, never hide the unsubscribe link. If this is a newsletter, consider how frequent your emails are. So the more frequent they are, the more likely you are to get your list subscribe. However, if you're thinking about making your like one-on-one personal emails more dynamic, this needs to be based on where they are in the customer flow. So if you set a deadline of 24 hours to pay, then don't feel bad about sending them an email within 24 hours. Newsletter to all opens, emailing them 24 hours, every 24 hours. Never include any broken links. This is super easy to do. The way I always would catch myself is I would put opportunities.isacus.org, and that is a broken link. So it's opportunities.isac.org. And that's something that's super easy to accidentally do. Sure, you test your emails if it's in MailChimp. Make sure that your links are not broken, or even if it's just a regular email with a hyperlink in it, make sure that it goes to the right place at all. And then don't write too much in your copy, and don't use too many exclamation marks or like emoticons. Young people do actually react to emoticons, but you don't want to use too many because it can be flagged as spam. And you don't want to use catchwords like special offer, signs, $100 off in the header. It can oftentimes be caught as spam. Cool. So let's jump into sending. So there's in most LCs, there's two different, I guess there's three, but there's two different topics of like email marketing that I'm going to touch on. So there's newsletters, which is when you have an event, you have an info session, you have some promotional activity that has allowed you to get contacts, or it's all your opens that come in through Expo, you add them to a newsletter. So these are contacts that you have control over. The other option are email blasts, which I mean, that's not like a industry term, but that's just what I'm calling them, which is when you have special permission or access to emails on your campus, and you can send out like a one-time email promoting a project. So perhaps your career center allows every organization once a semester to send out an email blast, or a specific department, or you've made a partnership with a club that's got like 300 members, and they say, yeah, we'll let you send out one email to everyone. There's different like protocol you should take. So newsletters, like I said, opens from Expo, contacts from tabling, sessions, past EPs. This is a really big one. Any EP that was remotely interested and didn't go abroad, or was just an open last semester that didn't move through the pipeline, they're not completely dead. So you guys should still consider contact them and see if they're now interested in going for summer, as well as rejected general members. So all the LCs should be doing IXB recruitment, which is basically where every member that every person that you recruit that applies to work for your local committee accepted as and go abroad, or they're only accepted to go abroad. Send out a congratulations email to all of the member that were not selected to be members but are still going to go abroad this summer, congratulating them on becoming an EP. And all of the new members, like giving them a deadline to create their account on Opportunities Portal by the time they go to their induction conference, for example. Blasts, like I said, this can go out to clubs. This can go out, if the professor after lecture shout gives you access to all the emails of the students in that class, departments, or any university contacts that somebody might have that, maybe it's a member of your local committee whose advisor knows about ISIC and is interested in helping, things like that. So, oops, I'm gonna go ahead and. So you can see here, I've kind of given you some suggestions based on the different, I guess, customer flow. So let's say you get some contacts at an event. Different email options you can consider are sending an email about just finding out more. So perhaps there was someone who stopped by your event, grabbed a cookie, interacted with someone for less than a minute, but you got their contact. So they don't really know much more about what ISIC is. So you can tell them to find out more by sending them to the website. You can also, people who maybe they were interested, didn't have a lot of time to stay, you got their contact, and so you invite them to your next event, whether it's an info session or a fast match. Or perhaps you met someone at an event, you got their contact, and they were actually very interested in Argentina, for instance. So then you can follow up by sending out all these type of people with actually a featured project, and say, hey, here's what we were talking about, this really awesome 6-week project in Argentina for this SDG. So now let's say you're at an info session. Definitely, you should always gather contacts at an info session. What I recommend is that you have a tablet or a computer. Every person who walks in the door, you go ahead and have them fill out, create an open perhaps, or even just write down their email when they walk in. And then after the session, anyone who hasn't done it, they have to do it before they leave. You can send all of these contacts a summarization of what you talked about in your info session. Is about, a quality education project in Thailand. Then you just recap what's the project, what's the focus on, what's the start date, what's end date, the duration, and what's the deadline to apply. And if you want to feature other opportunities, you can send them featured opportunities in a recap email. If they're already opened, then you can send them an email about how they need to complete their profile and suggestions on how to do so. And you can remind them about deadlines. Again, just to stress this again, we do recommend all LCs are working with deadlines to incentivize EPs to move faster. LCs should also be doing fast match. So this is a GCP that's kind of growing in the network, and it's super valuable. So basically, you can have like a 5-hour event or open office hours where anybody who's somewhere in the customer flow can move forward in the customer flow by coming to this event. They can come learn about more, fill out their application, fill out their profile, and apply. If they're an applicant, they can stop by to get accepted. A lot. So the thing with these is that these should be more personalized. So if you have several people that showed up to a fast match that they were just opens, then you have a very different thing to send them to follow up than if someone had already applied to Argentina, at that fast match event. You can follow up with them to make sure that once they're accepted, that they'll need to be interviewed and pay. Move through the pipeline faster. For email blasts, lecture shouts, contacts that you get from lecture shouts, or UR contacts, my biggest recommendation is that you please usually these are they're kind of favors that people will do for you. So if it's like the president of a club, it's kind of like a favor that they'll let you email their members, or if it's a professor, it's definitely a favor because they're not obligated to help you and things like that. So you need to be professional. Sometimes they'll let you send it out directly. Most of the time, from my experience, they will let you send it to them and then they will forward it on to all of their students. So please craft a very well-made email. For these as well, I always would recommend that you ask for permission, especially after lecture shouts. Sometimes you have you have access to all the, but the professor might not appreciate you doing that because they want to keep that channel for just like for themselves to remind their students. So definitely ask for permission. And for anything like a club shout or actually any of these, they're basically like warm leads in a way because you've gotten them through someone you know or someone your LC knows. So, don't act like it's a super cold lead if it's not. So keep your warm leads warm. So a little bit of advice on when to send emails. So for after events, I always recommend you try to aim for within 2 hours so that it's sitting nice in their inbox when they think about the event again. But definitely at the minimum, you send it by the end of the day, that same day. So that when they get home, most students, they get home and they start checking their email and start doing homework maybe around like 9 p.m. or so, or earlier if they're like responsible, I don't know. So it'd be nice to have that sitting in their inbox. Evenings, students study and do work in the evenings. Also, something to consider is Sunday nights. So, of course, but a lot of students will, start to organize their week on a Sunday night. So they'll check their email, looking for reminders from their professors of things that they need to have prepared for the week. So it's nice to have that in their inbox on a Sunday night. Emailing professors or more professional contacts, always send emails during work hours because they will see them during work hours, or again Sunday evenings because then it'll be sitting at the top of their inbox when they get to work on Monday. Send something anywhere between like Friday at 4 p.m. to it's going to be lost toward the bottom of their inbox by the time they get to the office. So I always recommend wait until the evening on Sunday so that they see it on Monday morning. So the next thing is analytics. We've had a lot of people tell us that they're working on email marketing, but they're not seeing a lot of benefit. So I did want to make you guys aware of like the averages, percentages for analytics for email. You can see that on average, industry standard, 84% of your emails will actually make it to the recipient. This is because somebody might give you an email that's incorrect. 24% will open it. So if you have analytics, like if you're using MailChimp and you can see this, or if you don't have analytics but you're wondering why no one's responding, it's because it is normal for only 24% of recipients to open your email. That does not mean this is a failed strategy. It's not a failed strategy. You should keep doing it. You should always do this, and just know that 24% is the average. You can expect 2% to unsubscribe if it's a subscription newsletter. You can expect only 13% to actually click through your email. So a lot of people might open it, but then they like kind of skim what it has to say and then delete it or move on. The percentage of people who are actually click on any of your links is even smaller. So that's just something to be aware of. Now, some of you might be wondering, wait, I thought this was supposed to have the highest ROI. So if you take into account the volume of opens that we get for summer peak, imagine if every single one of them was getting 2 or 3 emails over the course of a week. As a country, we have 1,000 opens in March. And over the course of a week, each of them is getting 1 email. That's 1,000 emails. 13% actually click on things. That's 130 people who click, who are probably engaged enough to become an EP. So it is worth doing as long as everyone does it and does it well. If you send 1 email and decide that's not a strategy you want to pursue, then you have wasted your time because you aren't going to make the impact that you want to see. So please, please, please don't be discouraged. This is the industry standard. So I just to punctuate that point, it's not a strategy, this is your job. Manager, anybody will tell you that email marketing isn't an option. It's 2017, it's expected. I know we're all bombarded with emails every day, but it's not because, it's because it works. So it's not a strategy, it's your job. That finishes with email construction and sending emails. Just to finish, I want to go ahead and open to resources. So this will be output, but as you guys can see here, that Madison made, which is really amazing, and it has some of the information here, but also a lot of additional information. You guys all read through that. This output will be made available on isaacUSHub.org. In terms of designing and constructing your email, we have email/cover use already designed for you. You just need to drag and drop, which you can find in the GV and GET folders. In the we also have a really amazing section here of sample emails. I'll actually click into this in a second. So this is one of the OGV NST, Listia. She has typed up and provided example emails that you guys can reference and edit and adapt for your LC. You use EP showcasing, whether it's videos or photos that the national NST has made. You can access those here to add into your emails. Of course, all the official logos are always available. Sorry guys, this should be a period. So it's bit.ly/ISAAC US assets folder. You guys should memorize that bit.ly and access it whenever you need them. Of course, the Blue Book, if you're wondering what's brand aligned and what's not brand aligned, you can see the official global Blue Book, which is our branding guidelines. I know this is a long document, so actually our B2C Cedar has made a shorter guide, which has like the most pertinent information. You can find that at the shorter Blue Book, the /Blue Book guide. So real quick, before we open up for questions, I'm gonna go ahead and, because I wanna show you guys what I'm referencing for the sample emails. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go email by email. Wait for this to load. But as you guys can see here, here's an example of an email that you can send after you've given a lecture shout. Here is an example for after tabling. If you go all the way down here, you can see here's an example of an email for when your EP has been accepted and still needs to pay. Really awesome resource. This is amazing. I wish I had this when I was an LCVP. It takes out a lot of the brain power needed to construct a good email. All you have to do is copy paste this and then edit to fit your LC. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it valuable. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I'm still learning how to use YouTube streaming. Webinars made available to you guys. Madison is going to be hosting probably in the near future, next week or the week after, various webinars going into more depth about different platforms you can use and like design tools you can use to actually make newsletters. So I apologize again for the technical difficulties. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. And with that, we will open it to questions. 12 minutes left. Please feel free to put your questions in the YouTube chat to the side of your, and Rosie and I will be answering them. I see your comment. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Guys, if you are in the actual Google Hangout, I recommend you go to the YouTube Live and ask your questions there because I have my computer on mute, so I can't hear if you're asking anything. So the link is bit.ly/lead-nurture-call, all lowercase. Robert, okay, so the videos you can actually find if you go to the MC United States YouTube page. All of them like auto-save, and they should be accessible there, so you can go back and rewatch all of these. Guys, I'm looking at Rosie's comment that's saying that resources are available at isaacus.org. I think what she means to say is isaacUSHub.org or information management website. Is there any template for email? So if by template, if you mean like design template, there isn't. It's hard to provide a design template because typically you make the template the actual platform. So for MailChimp, inside MailChimp, what you can do is drag and drop things that you design outside. So if you design a banner or a cover photo or something that you want to drag and drop in there, those we have made available to you in the assets folder. Drag and drop those into your emails. But if you're looking for like a template with buttons and stuff, then unfortunately we can't provide that because it has to be made within the platform that you're using. Cool. Okay, so are there any resources we could give to parents to make them feel more comfortable about the program? This is a question from the president of ISAC at Denver.
So this is a great question. We don't have any like physical resources, but it does have to do in a lot of the ways of how you actually sell the program. So for example, if you go to a university where a lot of people are like living with their parents, for example, you could host an info session for parents, and that would be a space for you to be able to talk to them. I also recommend that you could give the like cell phone number and email of yourself and your VP OGV or OGT, and then they could also directly communicate with parents as well too. If they go onto the website, we also have the resources and things in order to know it themselves.
Okay, guys. So if nobody else has any more questions, then I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. Once again, this output will be made available on the Resource Hub. This video will be here on the MC United States YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please reach out to your network managers. Oh, I'll answer this last question. So St. Edward says, where exactly in the Resource Hub are the sample emails? So if you go into OGV or OGT, oh, the sample emails. That's actually a really great question. So the sample emails are only linked in this output right now, but what I'll do right after this call is I'll drag and drop them into, so if you go to the Resource Hub and you click on either OGV or OGT, like function spaces, once you go into there, you'll see there's several options, several different folders, and one of them is digital promotions folder, and you'll see one for lead nurture. That has the lead nurture guide. It'll have this output. It'll have email banners that I was talking about that we designed for you guys. And I will put the sample emails, like sample email scripts in there as well. So just again, that's function space, either OGV or OGT, digital promotions, lead nurture. You can find everything about email marketing that you need in there. Hopefully that helps. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you guys are here, give a shout out to your MCVP. Know that you're on the call, and we love to hear what you guys think about our call. So give us some feedback. Send us a Snapchat or a Snapchat, yes, but also what I was gonna say, a selfie, whatever you guys want to do. And I hope you all have a wonderful remainder of your evening. And with that, I will say goodbye.